So, I'm going to start this review off by listing a few of my favorite things. Christopher Nolan is probably one of my personal favorite directors of all time, Interstellar and The Prestige being particular favorites. Out of all the actors in Hollywood, nobody is better than Christian Bale in my opinion. He is one of the most committed actors out there, and I would definitely consider him to be my favorite. I'm sure most people already know that Batman is my favorite superhero, so we'll just move past that. So where am I going with this? When Bale and Nolan teamed up for a Batman trilogy of films, it should have been a perfect storm for me. What better group of people to make movies about my favorite superhero? Instead, I only liked the original film, Batman Begins. It's the only one that really feels like a Batman experience. The Dark Knight is a good movie, but a bad Batman movie. And The Dark Knight Rises is just plain bad. So all that rambling was just so we can get to this point. Today's review will be on the Mafex Batman from Batman Begins, which is the best design that Batman had in the trilogy, and it's based on my favorite of the three films. So here he is out of the box, and I have to say he's a very impressive looking figure. Mafex has done a very good job sculpting his cowl and face. The only problem I have here is the typical Mafex orange skin tone that they've used for every single figure for some strange reason. His mouth also looks a bit effeminate. The suit itself looks awesome. It's textured just like in the movie and doesn't blend in at all. The big problem I have with the Nolan Batsuits would be the single color. You need some sort of secondary color to make the design stand out. In The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, he looks like he's made of tires. Batman Begins makes him look more like a ninja, and this figure does a very great job of doing that while also remaining recognizably Batman. His back isn't nearly as detailed as his front, but that's okay since the cape will probably be covering it anyway. The first of two main issues I have with this figure would be his head articulation. All the movies from Batman 89 to Begins, Batman's cowl was designed so that the actor couldn't move his head to the sides, which is ironic because this figure can do just that, but can't move it up or down at all. This is obviously a huge problem when it comes to his articulation and posing. The next issue I have would be his belt. In order to allow for ease of posing, it's a floating piece, which means when posing the figure, it's going to be moving all over the place. This isn't nearly as big a problem as the cowl, but it is worth mentioning. The rest of his articulation is very well done. Nothing really hinders his movement other than the aforementioned head, so you can get him into as many poses as you want. Mafex has a spotty track record with loose joints, and I can say for sure he feels very tight and not at all loose. For accessories, he comes with these two fist hands for punching people in the butt. Next up, he has these open hands, used mainly with specific poses. He comes with two battering holding hands, but my left hand won't fit because the hole is too small. And he of course comes with batarangs, 3 to be specific, which is great because the Justice League Batman only came with 1. Next up, he comes with 2 grapple gun holding hands, but just like the batarang hands, the left one doesn't fit. I don't know if this is specific to my figure or if this is widespread. The included grapple gun looks really nice and accurate to the movies. I always really liked the Nolan grapple gun, it's just a shame he rarely used it. Now, next up is the accessory I was the most excited about, an unmasked Bruce Wayne head. Not only can you unmask him, but you also get a separate chest piece that removes the cape if you so choose. The head is nicely sculpted, but I don't know if it looks exactly like Christian Bale or not. From certain angles it looks spot on, but from others it just looks like nobody. Unlike the cowl, the unmasked head can move freely, no longer tied down. And last but not least is the Mafex stand, which can be used to help the figure pull off aerial poses or to just stand him up. I'm glad Mafex still includes these with their figures, unlike a certain other company. So overall, the Mafex Batman Begins figure is very good. He's sculpted very nicely, has a perfect set of accessories, and as somebody who has a ton of Batman figures, he really stands out due to the unmasked head. The only thing holding it back for me is just kind of the same reason why I like it. It's just another Batman figure. He comes with the exact same things that every other Batman figure does: batarang, grapple gun, and hands. The figure companies aren't at fault here, it's kind of the character. And I guess it's also my fault for buying so many damn Batman figures. I would absolutely recommend this figure for someone who liked the Dark Knight trilogy, Christian Bale, or just Batman in general. Although if you're like me and already have a bunch of Batman figures, he doesn't really break new ground.